5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Please do not change channel.
From Krypton Radio, brought to you by Famous Faces and Funnies and Off the Chain with Yvonne Mason. It's the Hangin' with Web Show Radio Hour, the Internet's premier pop culture talk radio show. You're tuned in, you're logged on, and now, your host, award-winning author and journalist G.W. Pomichter. Who are you hanging with?
Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome to the Hangin' with Web Show Radio Hour. I am not G.W. Pomichter. I am Cosplay Michael. Today's Radio Hour topic is going to be comic, kids, and cons. In a little bit, we'll be hearing my interviews with Cara, Nicole, AZ PowerGirl, Comics in the Classroom, and Mike with Incredikids.
And I'm Sagia, along here with Cosplay Michael tonight. Michael, what is so important about comics?
I really like comics because they help you read, and kids like to look at the pictures, and if it's like a superhero comic, DC or Marvel, the superheroes teach kids things. Captain America teaches kids to be positive and stay strong and do the right thing. Superman, he also does the same thing as Cap, but he plays by the rules. He does, and he's just really positive. He thinks strong, and
is Cap's your favorite Marvel superhero?
I wouldn't say favorite. I don't have a favorite Marvel superhero. I like all of them.
Cap's pretty awesome, huh?
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta plant yourself like a tree and say, you move, right?
Yep.
That's it. And when Cap gets knocked down, what does he do?
Always gets back up.
That's right. I can
do this all day.
Do this all day. That's exactly right. And Superman's kind of like the same kind of thing on the DC side, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah? Let's talk about conventions. What do you love about conventions?
I like
Hey. What are you guys doing? This is my show.
We're taking over.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What what are we talking about? Anyway, can I get to know that?
Maybe.
Well, yeah, we're talking about conventions, kids, and
comics.
Comic
books.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, wait. So I'm in the other room for a few minutes, and all of a sudden, the show's going on.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you're talking about comics?
Yeah.
What did you talk about comics? What are you saying about comics?
We're saying that they're really good. They help kids read, and I think they're a really good thing. I read some like Teen Titans Go and Batman. We're just talking about how they help people.
I like the pictures.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kids like pictures. Everyone likes pictures.
I can't even argue with that. And you're talking about conventions too?
Yeah.
We just started talking about conventions.
You just started talking about conventions. What are you talking about?
Should we let him in?
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. We're talking about how I get to hang out with the community and conjure about collecting community, and you can use your creativity to create cosplays, and you can also make your own props and sell them for booths.
Wait. How did you get so? When did he get so smart?
He's been smart.
He's been smart?
He is. He's a super smart Cosplay Michael.
Wow. Okay, so we know what he likes about conventions. We know what he likes about comics. I just want to know, is there like a kids community at conventions? I mean, like when we're doing a show on the floor, you have like people?
Yeah.
Are they all kids?
Well, not all of them.
No?
There's some adults.
There's some adults too?
Yeah.
But they play like kids.
They play like kids?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's called Incredikids.
Incredikids. I know those guys. We interviewed those guys.
We did.
Wait a minute. You guys didn't cop my interviews too, did you?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Oh,
Maybe.
Man. Guys, who are we in? What interviews did you use? What interviews are you using tonight?
Arizona Cosplay.
Wait a minute. That's not even my interview. You did that one.
Exactly.
Oh, all right. Okay, fine.
I'm sensing a theme.
Cara, Nicole, and Arizona PowerGirl Cosplay.
Yes.
That's right.
AZ Cosplay.
Do you have any other interviews?
Are we
going to listen to any other interviews tonight?
We're gonna listen to you guys' interview with
Well, we mentioned Mike
yeah.
from Incredikids.
Oh yeah. We're gonna
Oh,
go over his
they
interview.
were a lot of fun.
That's right.
They got a lot of stuff for kids to do at conventions.
No, we're also going to do the interview with...
Paul Wulff and Nicole Jobin. Do you remember? They do comics in the classroom.
Comics in the classroom.
Oh, wow. That's a good one, too. You picked out some really... Did you pick this out?
I mean,
Did you pick these interviews out?
Well, yeah.
Why?
Well,
what about why these interviews? What are they... What were you going for?
I was going for something right up my alley, so I could be in the radio hour.
Oh, man. Well, you certainly did pick a good one because you picked all kid stuff.
Yeah.
Kids learning to read using comics. You picked, stuff that kids do at conventions.
Yeah.
And then you picked your Cosplay Michael interview with Miss Cara, who actually, you guys did get a chance to talk about kids and conventions and, safety and those kinds of things. So that's pretty cool. You picked out some really cool stuff, man.
Yeah.
You're a pretty smart guy.
Other than the topic, do we have any questions we want to ask? So...
Oh, boy. Let me think. Well, I'm going to ask you can I ask you some questions?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Both of you.
So, now, you're Cosplay Michael, and everybody knows that you do a lot of different cosplays.
Yeah.
Do you have any new cosplays?
Yes, I'm working on one by myself right now. Blueberry from Underswap, so I can do a photo shoot with some of my friends. Dylan Carusco, Tyler, and all of those people.
That's kind of cool. Those are the guys over at Colmar Things Productions, yeah.
Yeah, we're also doing... We built this just a couple weeks or a month ago. Robin.
Robin. Which Robin?
Which
do you
Robin?
remember? Do you remember which Robin it is?
I can't remember. It's Red Robin, but I can't remember. Tim Drake. Tim Drake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, really cool. And what are you going to do with that one? Is that for a specific photo shoot, or is it just a cosplay for cons, or what?
It's for both, actually. It's for cosplay for cons, and it's for a specific photo shoot with Dennis Cutter, Amelia Poole, and Mark Robards. So
that sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun.
It is.
And
I get to get tortured and turned into Joker Jr.
So, wait, you're going to be Robin and Joker Jr.?
Yes.
Do you have a Joker Jr. cosplay?
Yeah. We worked on it.
How did you get that?
Remember?
Yeah. Well, tell everybody on the radio, how did you get the Joker Jr. cosplay? What did you do?
Okay, so we started out with... Okay, so I'm going to answer that question. I don't know why I said okay. So how you did it is pretty simple. So we started out as a white shirts thing. Well, not shirts.
A suit, yeah.
Yeah, white suit.
Three-piece suit,
just like a white suit. And we went over to our friend Amelia Poole's house, and she helped us dye it. So we dyed it purple and green. We also had some purple ribbon for his tie. And yeah, that's how we constructed the Joker Jr.
She taught you how to sew.
She taught you how to sew too, didn't
yes.
she? Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Fun.
So you get to learn a lot of different creative things when you're in a convention community, don't you?
Yes, it's very fun.
Would you say that conventions and this community and comics and everything is it good for kids?
Yeah, actually, it helps them read. I mentioned that earlier when you weren't here.
You hit all the good stuff, huh?
Yep.
Wow. Conventions can be really busy. There's like a lot of people.
Yeah.
How do you stay safe at a convention?
Stay with your people or have a badge from the convention having your booth number and the bottom white blank space, or having a badge of your people so they know where to bring you if you get lost.
That's pretty smart, actually. Having some way for them to know where to bring you. You ever been lost at a convention?
Once, twice, actually 3 times.
Well, I think once he said that we got lost.
That's true.
I remember that.
He said, yeah.
Yes.
So,
well, technically counted both of us getting lost, so 3 times.
There you go. Well, you know what, guys? You guys have queued up a bunch of cool stuff.
We have.
Did you guys remember to queue up the ads?
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah?
No.
Yeah? Yeah. Okay, so if you queued up the ads, then you know what? Let's take a commercial break, and then let's listen to some interviews and see how you guys did, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, you guys did a really good job. We're on Krypton Radio tonight, and they're going to be listening to Cosplay Michael. This is Cosplay Michael's Hanging with Web Show Radio Hour. I'm GW Pomichter. I'm late, but Cosplay Michael, I guess, has been running the show for me, so I'm good to go with that. So, guys, we'll be right back after these messages with some fantastic interviews, and then we'll let Cosplay Michael wrap up the show. Yep. What do you think of that?
I think that's an amazing idea. We will be back after the advertisements in about 2 minutes. So See you at the advertisements.
Famous Faces and Funnies in Melbourne, Florida is leading the way in pop culture fun. From comic books and graphic novels to Funko Pops and collector's items, Famous Faces and Funnies has it all. Rick Shea and the professional team at Famous Faces and Funnies are friendly and knowledgeable. Whether you're looking for toys, props, collector treasures, or a new comic book, Famous Faces and Funnies is your one-stop shop. To find Famous Faces and Funnies on Facebook and Twitter, just type at FFF Comics.
Who's who? What's hot and what's not? 2019 saw some amazing new creative talents, and now you can peek behind the scenes at the hottest indie creative artists in this year's edition of 25 Hottest Indie Authors, Artist Advocates 2019 magazine, published by the renowned And I Thought Ladies. This is a one-of-a-kind look into the brightest rising stars in the creative universe. Get yours today at magcloud.com and at andwethought.com.
Mature and curvaceous Juliana faces the consequences of having two online lovers, the insanely jealous Aaron and the kind, sexy silver fox Bobby. To make her life more complicated, she must weather the wrath of her husband Rocco, who has discovered his suspicion and uncovers a deep, dark secret. And there are more secrets to uncover. Will these secrets come out? Can Juliana survive this tsunami of impossible situations? Will she be able to rebuild the life she once had? Or will the burden of the past prove too much? Is there even a happily ever after in her future? Read what happens when you pick up your copy of With All of Me Too today from joannesbooks.com or amazon.com.
Authors, filmmakers, producers, anybody that has anything to do with creating independent stuff, comic book authors, musicians. Make sure you take advantage of the 2019 Indie Originals Live Talent Competition, going on now at www.indieoriginalslive.com. This is your exclusive opportunity to become an official award-winning independent creator to use that in your marketing. Enter today at www.indieoriginalslive.com.
Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome back to the Hangin' with Web show. I'm GW Pomichter. Thank you so much for logging on, tuning in, clicking a link, Googling. I don't know how they got here. Some of them just got lost on the internet, and this is where they ended up. So thank you. Subscribe. You can end up here again. We've got artists, authors, filmmakers, musicians, creative minds of all kinds. We are here at MegaCon 2019, and we are hanging with Web show alumnus and great friend, Nicole Jobin from Comics in the Classroom, and she brought a friend. She brought Paul Wulff. How you doing, Paul?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. Good to meet you,
Me
Nicole.
Too.
Thank you for being back on. This has been a banner year for Comics in the Classroom.
Yeah?
So, you remember 4 years ago we sat on a couch in a hotel room and just dreamed.
Yeah.
And now 4 years later, you have been recognized all around the state in the news.
Yep.
The district has recognized you and started implementing some of your ideas in the classroom.
Some of them.
Some of them.
I'm still working on it.
Yeah. So, well, how does that feel?
It's been pretty awesome, I have to say.
Yeah.
It's been exciting, but it was like I never expected it to be anything. I just said, well, I'll go and talk to a few people, and
see
then
what
it
happens.
became this.
Yeah.
It's like the news guy calls and said, we really want to do an interview. And I'm like, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we were lucky enough to meet Paul on the web.
Uh-huh.
And he just dropped by the link, and he started talking about some of the cool things he was doing to bring some form of comics into his classroom, which is amazing.
Uh-huh.
So I'll let him talk about that too. But it just kind of turned into something. It just turned into something that was bigger than I ever expected it to. You know, Brian said, "Hey, let's talk about this.
Yeah,
let's talk about it." And then all of a sudden, I'm signing contracts, and I'm an exhibitor and a panelist, and I'm just like, oh my God, people actually want to hear about it. So.
They do, and every place that you go, everybody's excited to hear about comics in the classroom. Paul, how did you get mixed up with this menage? Well, by the way, welcome to the family.
Thank you very much.
Crazy is every Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, and Friday.
Okay, very good.
Yeah,
every week.
That sounds good.
All the days that end in Y.
I got it. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Well, basically what happened is Brian and I had a mutual love for some YouTube shows on like Movie Talk and AMC and Collider and the Movie Trivia Schmodown with Collider. And I saw a link one day for Comics in the Classroom, and I'm like, wait a minute, I do that. So
that's awesome.
I just messaged her and messaged him about, some things that I did in the classroom, and I kind of felt like I was the next piece, because she does a lot with reading and reading comprehension.
Uh-huh.
I bring in writing, organization with bell work for kids to settle down in the middle of the before the class starts. I've even done math and brought in comics with science, and so it's just almost like a perfect relationship with me bringing it in here. And I'm all the way from Ohio, so she's bringing in people from all over. And it's an amazing thing that she's doing, and I'm just excited to be a part of this.
Let's remind everybody what Comics in the Classroom is all about.
So basically, Comics in the Classroom is it started as a reading initiative to try to get our kids to read because with so many struggling readers. And it just is a fun way because we figure how kids learn to read. They're reading with pictures and they're imagining things, so why not continue using those pictures as we get a little bit older to keep those struggling readers engaged and to keep it interesting and fun. I remember learning how to read and having so much fun when I had picture books and everything, and then as I got older, it was a little bit boring. I had to think about what it was, and it was okay if I really enjoyed it, but let's face it, we don't always read things that we enjoy. So it was just
people
like...
out there have read my books. They didn't enjoy it, but they did it. Didn't you?
That's not fair.
Please, did you? Please?
That's not fair.
Paul, what made you bring comics into your classrooms? What was it that excited you about doing that?
Well, it started really early. I was like 12 when I wanted to be a teacher. And...
you don't hear that often.
No, I was
6. I was 6.
Okay,
really?
She got me.
Really? You wanted to be a teacher from the time you were 6? Who was that teacher that made you want to be a teacher?
My first grade teacher.
Your first grade teacher?
Ms. Caswell.
My 5th grade teacher, Mr. Calloway.
They made you want to be a teacher?
It was the first male teacher that really gave me a difference.
My favorite teacher in the whole world when I was growing up made me understand how much I didn't want to be a teacher.
Okay.
But she was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I had my 6th grade teacher, shout out to Mrs. Wagner right now because she taught me to love to read. She taught me to love to learn. She taught me what reading was about more than the individual word. Mm-hmm. Which you learn in the 1st and 2nd grade. She taught me to love the story. Yeah. And she taught me to love learning and to want to be a lifelong learner. Mm-hmm. So, but those teachers have a major impact on us, and it's great that you wanted to be those guys, which is awesome. So, when you started teaching, what made you say, hey, comic books or comics would help me in the classroom?
My first job was at an alternative school where the students were kind of displaced from their home school because of behavior issues or really bad grades, and they wanted to just move them out to try to give them a fresh start. Uh-huh. And a lot of them wanted to throw the chairs and swear at you rather than learn. So I decorated my room with superheroes. I painted the walls with superhero logos. I had a superhero bulletin board called Be the Hero, and I put up every week students would bring in pictures of themselves and things that they've done to focus on themselves, to show the good in them, to be the hero, to maybe help other students see somebody modeling good behavior.
Yeah.
And I just then brought in...
He's like the real-life greatest American hero.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, we can do it.
Then I brought in
Nicole's like, why? Why am I here?
Just dated myself,
what am I
right?
doing to these people?
But I just brought that in and then incorporated that into lessons. And then these board games that I used to make. I actually won a math game board contest in 3rd and 4th grade. And when I got my first teaching job, I teacherized them and brought them into the classroom.
Teacherized.
I think that's I'm going to get a quarter for every time someone says that.
We just patented that word at Paul's name. It's all good.
So I did that, and then I got the ball rolling with, well, why don't I just make a science game with superheroes? And then a student of mine brought in these hero clicks and used those as game pieces. And immediately, that student who would swear, yell at everybody, not do their work in everybody's classroom, quiet behavioral issues out the door, got good grades with me, and all the teachers were just scratching their heads
like, that's why these characters have resonated with us all so long? because they demonstrate the best in us, what we can be with just a little effort, and a little, giving ourselves a little code to operate by. We can be these things. Yeah. That's the message they've always had. Now, Nicole, we went from speculating and hoping and doing panels and sitting there, and I can remember those first panels. Remember where there were like 3 people, and they were like, "What are we here for?" Yeah. Oh, I got it. We're getting off our feet for a little while, right?
Yeah.
To now, you're getting calls from press. The district called. Tell us about that experience. Tell us how.
The first newscaster that called was because.
Was the Hangin' with Web show? We did this.
Well, yeah.
You guys are late.
Yeah.
But we like it that you're here. Keep calling.
But they just wanted to hear about it.
Yeah.
And he thought it was just interesting. So it was just a thing that he wanted to do because it was something he loved
himself. A nice feature piece, yeah.
Yeah, he was a Hulk fan. So, and he had all girls. So he wasn't necessarily really able to share a lot of that with them. And so he was like, I see this teacher willing to do this in her classroom. And I said, I used it in my classroom with my kids a couple of years ago. They loved it. I'm not teaching right now. I mean, I am teaching, but I'm not teaching. So it was kind of like this thing that I had to kind of get this moving so that they could start looking at the district. But we've recently, I got a thank you card from Sheriff Grady Judd from Polk County, talking about the work that we are doing. And then ABC Action News. Yep. And then we were featured on their, it's called The List. It's syndicated all nationwide. So we were featured there. And then Channel 10 wanted to come in April, but we hadn't started anything really on the, in the school to really have him feature anything at our school. But it was just kind of turned into that. And it was like, I didn't realize it would be such a big thing. So for individual
teachers doing this in the classroom, Paul, to being a part of and really at the forefront, the head of a movement to do this, what's that like for you? What was that like for you to say, hey, I've been doing this, and now I met these persons that are doing this, and now we're doing this, and we're spreading the word and getting this attention? What's that been like?
I've always thought that I never want my job, my career to plateau at all. And I just think this is my next step. As I'm improving with making my games for my students online that I work with, or just working with comics in the classroom, I just want the word to keep spreading. And I don't want to get bored. I don't want to get complacent. I just want to keep projecting myself up and improving and doing new experiences just like this. And it's just very rewarding.
Well, and you and I talk about this all the time, and I'll ask Paul too. When you get a teacher that's reluctant, a little bit nervous, why do I want to bring comics into my classroom? Give me like the elevator pitch. What would you tell a teacher that came to you and said, Miss Jobin, I just don't know if I want to do that. Comic books, really? What would you say?
I always tell them to think about a comic book that actually told a story. It's bigger than just the superhero. The superhero has a problem. They need something. So I said, it's meeting your struggling readers where they are with a little bit of fun and engaging everybody else, because we all need that downtime. So, yeah. We all need that, thing that keeps us engaged in whatever we're doing. So a lot of what we've been talking about is just coming to panels and having people talk to us about being in a classroom where they use comic books or using comic books in their own classroom. And it's all these ideas that start coming in from other places that help us kind of put the word out there.
It's an open source of ideas and material. Yeah. Paul, how about you? If you got a teacher that looks at you and goes, it looks really cool in your classroom, but why do I want to put comics in my classroom? What do you say?
Well, it's almost like a double-edged sword in a way. The first thing is, if you're nervous about starting your teaching job, you're nervous about getting your lessons ready to go, you want to start off with something that the students would actually see you as a real person.
Yes.
Something that can bring them in to be like, you know what? I think I like this guy. I want to relate to him, because that's the first step. The first step is not only
establishing the
rapport, exactly, and then showing the students that you could use things that you like in lessons and not make them boring. Like instead of the read the story, answer these questions, there's a quiz on Friday.
Yeah.
You've got superheroes involved. You've got all sorts of things that will incorporate it, make it fun for them, and make them learn and have fun at the same time.
Yeah. Well, guys, we could talk. Yes. One more. No, go ahead. One more time.
My kids were really excited about it just because we were already doing that report stuff, and we did the comic books at the end of the year. And they were sold on it because they were like, well, this is something she's been talking about all year, so we might as well just enjoy it.
Yeah, actually, wonderful. Guys, we could talk about comics in the classroom for hours, and have. She's going to hold that card up and tell us all to shut up regularly. She's the teacher here.
You got it.
So we're going to say thank you to our partners and friends at Famous Faces and Funnies, Space Coast Comics, Indie Originals, and IndieCon 2019. Our great friend Josh Bauer at J. Bauer Art for all the set pieces here. Our good friends over at Krypton Radio, Foxwood Wine Company, because these chairs are wicked comfortable. We're getting better here. I like that. And our good friend, author Yvonne Mason at Off the Chain Radio. Thank you guys for sharing our videos. We hope everybody else out there, too. Keep logging on. Keep tuning in and see who we're hanging with next.
Are you looking for a used car?
Check out the Public Auto Auction app from CarAuctionNetworks.com.
You can download the app on your phone or tablet and use it for free, and there's no registration required.
You can see what's for sale at car auctions, such as
bank repos,
dealer trade-ins,
surplus government vehicles,
or impounds.
There are plenty of cheap used cars and trucks listed in the app.
You can save a lot of money with the Public Auto Auction app.
You can also see and bid at car auctions online.
Get the Public Auto Auction app for iOS at the Apple Store.
Or on Google Play.
Or simply go to CarAuctionNetwork.com.
That's CarAuctionNetwork.com. Change your life with Ray K Distance Energy from Energy Right Now.
What is Ray K?
Well, Ray K Distance Energy is positive energy transferred over distance by Ray K Energy practitioners to help you heal and live your best life.
How will Ray K help me?
Ray K Energy transfers can help increase your income, better your health, help you lose weight, even stop smoking. It can be used to buy or sell real estate, even find lost items.
Wow, Ray K Energy seems pretty powerful.
It is, and you can start calling on Ray K Energy today. Just reach out to practitioner Leah Schiller online at energyrightnow.wordpress.com.
Leah Schiller, where can I find her online again?
Unlock your potential today with Energy Right Now at energyrightnow.wordpress.com.
Now on Amazon.com, iCoin from author Jeremy Mosby. It's an alternate reality, and the leader of the planet iCoin is none other than Benjamin Franklin. When corrupt officials threaten not only iCoin but the Earth as well, an unlikely chosen one, Jeremy, must face dark foes to save the Earth and iCoin alike. Author Jeremy Mosby takes readers on a superhero's adventure through this compelling and imaginative alternate universe. Get iCoin on Amazon.com today.
Now on Amazon.com. War Calls, Love Cries, a Civil War novel by Mark Berry. Isaac Wells is an innocent farm boy living in upstate New York. His dreams are shattered by a treacherous brother and the onset of a devastating civil war. War Calls and Love Cries is a fast-moving historical narrative. It is an emotional roller coaster ride and a riveting must-read book that you will think about and talk about for a long time to come. War Calls and Love Cries is the kind of book you will cherish for a lifetime. On Amazon.com today.
Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome back to the Hanging with Web Show. I'm GW Pomichter. We are here at MegaCon Tampa Bay at the Tampa Bay Convention Center all weekend long. We've been hanging with artists, authors, filmmakers, musicians, cosplayers, creative minds of all kinds. Right now, we're hanging with the Hanging with Web Show's very own Cosplay Michael and the one and only Arizona Power Girl, Cara Nicole. Cara, thanks for hanging with us.
Thank you for having me.
And, thanks for coming over and hanging out with Cosplay Michael.
I love Cosplay Michael. He's one of my favorite cosplayers.
See that? Wow, look at that. Sometimes you have to be a little bit tricky to get these guys in the chair. We just dangle Cosplay Michael out there. That's how we get people to come over and talk to us. So, Cosplay Michael, you have any questions for Cara?
When did you start cosplay?
I started cosplaying in 2010 for a local cosplay charity group out in Phoenix, Arizona.
Do you know what the cosplay charity groups do?
No.
Well, would you want to know?
Yes.
So, what cosplay charity groups do is they do events like going to the children's hospital and visiting with sick kids, or going to a senior center and hanging out with sick elderly people. We hang out with a lot of sick people. That's why we wear gloves. It's very important when you're a cosplayer to wear gloves so that you don't get contaminated. It's also very important that when you're killing people with your weapons, that you sterilize them properly, because we don't want to spread sickness.
That's true.
Yes.
That is very true, isn't it? Because what happens when you don't wear gloves and you spend all weekend long at the con? What happens when you go home? You get con crud, don't you? Yep. So she's got to be careful of that. That's right. Go ahead. You got any questions?
What is your favorite cosplay?
Well, my favorite cosplay is PowerGirl. I get to use my own hair, and I just feel more like myself. Like, that's the character that I identify with the most. But this one, I really, really, really love. This is the super funnest cosplay because I get to carry a machete, and I get to have some blood.
That's pretty cool. What did you do yesterday? You got to play with Cecil at Cecil Grimes Cosplay yesterday and shoot zombies.
Yeah, I got to hold a fake SMC.
See? And those are the fun days, right?
Yeah.
Those are the fun days.
Yeah.
Look, what's her costume? Do you know her costume?
Yes.
I know you play some video games and you know some of the horror characters, right? What's her cosplay?
Jason.
That's right. So, would you say this is a better Jason than the one you see on TV? This is a better Jason?
Yes.
Yes? Why? I tricked you. Why? Why is it a better Jason?
Because there's blood.
Okay,
the
well,
blood.
you know what? Jason in the first movie was actually a young boy. Have you considered cosplaying Jason with no mask? But if you go back to the original one, you know, there's some seaweed going on. It'd be a great costume for you, and I don't think I've ever seen anyone do it.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. That's pretty cool. Now, you know, Cara, you do some regular modeling.
I do.
You do. When did you start modeling overall?
Oh, I have no idea. I've been doing it on and off since I was a kid.
So like 3 years, 4, something like that? You know, because she's like 22 now. Don't look at me like that, you two. You all thought the same thing. Cosplay Michael, do you have any more questions?
Yes.
What would you like to know?
How many cosplays do you have?
How many? I have no idea. I don't even count them.
I know how much I have.
How many do you have?
12.
You have 12?
You have 12?
You're not even that many years old. And you have 12 costumes.
What's your favorite cosplay?
Out of all of them, it'd have to be Jon Snow.
Jon Snow? You like your Jon Snow?
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Cara, do you do any Game of Thrones cosplays?
I haven't done any Game of Thrones cosplays yet.
Not yet?
Not yet. But can I ask a few questions? Would
Absolutely.
You mind?
Yes.
So, Cosplay Michael, how do you feel about the safety of children at conventions? Do you feel like you're in a safe environment? Do you feel like this is an appropriate environment for kids?
Yes.
So what would you do if you misplaced your parents?
I don't
Oh, that's happened before, hasn't it?
I don't know what that means.
If you can't find
If they
them,
got lost.
what do you do?
If they escaped.
Yeah, that happened last time. That happened last...
Where do you go? Where do you go?
One of our people or our booth.
Or our booth, and you can find us, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If you were going to talk to a kid that was coming to a con for the first time, what would you tell them? How would they find their parents if they lost them? Does a con have people you can go to? Yeah? Yeah? And you find those people?
Yeah.
Yeah? And you make sure people know who you are, right? Yeah? So like if Cara found you, she'd know who you were. So you say hi to people? Yeah? What do you like best about conventions and all your cosplay friends?
What do I like best?
Yeah.
Or what was my favorite con? Which one?
What's your favorite con? What's your favorite con?
It would have to be San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh, yeah? That was a pretty big one.
Yeah.
Yeah. He likes San Diego. He got to do his first panel.
Ah.
Yeah.
I see. What was your panel on?
My panel was... Actually, I don't know.
It was about kids in cosplay, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What was your favorite part of the panel? I know what I saw, but what was your favorite part of the panel?
Correcting telling an 11-year-old kid that Halloween costumes don't count as cosplay.
Ooh, someone is hard.
Oh, yeah, he's a hard man, this one. You gotta watch him.
You are hardcore.
That's
you know what
right.
I don't understand about kids that are really, really good cosplayers? Like, I've seen kids take duct tape and cardboard and create entire suits of armor that are amazing. But how come you guys can do that and you can't put, like, a fork in the sink?
Ooh, good question. How come you can cosplay so good, but you're not so good at doing your chores?
I do chores.
I know you do.
But barely any of them, because Ian has took over my chores now.
Oh, he's got an older brother.
Yes.
Yeah.
My older brother is doing my chores for me.
Just say because priorities. Because priorities.
Okay.
That means it means that you have something more important to do.
Cara, how long have you been doing the convention circuit?
I've been doing the convention circuit since 2011.
2011? How do you like it?
Oh, I think it's great. I have a really great time. I meet a lot of people. I travel all over the country, U.S., Mexico. I want to do more international conventions as well. I get to do a lot of mentoring, and I teach a lot of cosplayers about the business side of cosplay, about the legalities. There's a lot of things people don't understand because it is a new booming industry. So nobody understands, well, not nobody, but a lot of people don't understand things like your taxes, ownership of intellectual properties, all these kinds of ins and outs, algorithms, that sort of thing. So I do a lot of mentoring in regards to that to make sure that I educate people properly and give them the best start in their cosplay career that I can.
You know, coming from the modeling industry overall, and then into cosplay modeling.
So I don't really have a lot of experience in modeling.
Okay.
And I did get the majority of it from cosplay. So,
but you know, cosplay as a creative art is only recently coming out of the shadows. Most people would think of cosplay and they would think, hey, it's the convention goers having a good time and, you know, wearing Halloween costumes. But cosplay as an art form is really booming right now as an art form in the business.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
and that's why I try to mentor people and give
what's
them...
it been like for you transitioning from this world where most people would look at cosplay and think, oh, that's the hobby where they go to the conventions and they walk around, to being a professional and showing that this is a real creative art form?
Well, it's interesting because in my case, I started when it was just building up. So I did a lot of the legwork and a lot of the groundwork. I was purchasing tables in Artist Alley as a cosplayer before cosplayers were given tables. There was a time when a cosplayer might be at an artist table because he had a friend or, you know, she knew someone or was hired by an artist to be a model of something they drew or their book. And I created with my husband, we created my first cosplay photo book. And I got prints, and I took my book, and I bought a table, and I had my own table, and my own banners, and my own setup. And it was just something that wasn't done.
Yeah.
And so I just made that happen, and I started the groundwork for building that up.
Do you find conventions and convention goers more open to seeing cosplayers as artists now?
I do.
More than they were?
It's definitely changed over like the past 8 years, and that's something that I've been advocating for, that cosplay is a legitimate art form.
A form of artistic expression. It really is. You know, when we started the show, Cosplay Michael was just a little bored, and he wanted something to do. So he dressed in a Halloween costume, and he had a good time, and then he met professional cosplayers. And he found out, wow, there's a whole world where I can be creative and express myself.
Absolutely.
And it is a community that has gone largely unnoticed until recently. And the surge of, I always tell people when what was subculture became pop culture, now everybody sees us and goes, hey, there's something going on over there. And that you've been a part of that transition this whole time, and that's got to be an amazing feeling to come to. You know, even how's it been working with Fan Expo so far?
It's been great. This is my first time to Florida, and I'm loving it. You guys have this amazing view right here. Everyone has been wonderful. I've gotten to meet a lot of people that have been following me for years that, you know, weren't sure if they were ever going to get to meet me when you come to Florida. So I came to Florida, and FanX had me, and Fan Expo had me, and I hope to continue working with them. So tell Fan Expo you want me to come back.
Keep asking Fan Expo when you see them putting on cons if Arizona PowerGirl will be there, Cara, Nicole. Also, if you don't mind, ask them if the Hangin' with Web show's coming in, because we love doing what we do with great artists like this. She's got my shut up card, but before we do that, Cosplay Michael, may have any you got any more questions?
Yes.
What do you got?
Do you have any more new cosplay ideas?
I do. I always have cosplay. Come on, Cosplay Michael. All right. You're a cosplayer, I'm a cosplayer, right?
Yes.
How many cosplay ideas do you have going? What, 100, 200, a million in your brain all the time? 2?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're one of those that are kind of set, you know where you're going. Because me, I'm like, ooh, I gotta cosplay that. I wonder if I should cosplay that. I want to cosplay that. Oh, that looks great. I buy a bunch of fabric, I buy a bunch of stuff, I start making something. The minute I tell someone, though, let me tell you the secret. When you start talking about your next cosplay that you're working on, the more you talk about it, the longer it'll take you to finish. So keep it quiet. Don't tell anybody what your next cosplay is, because we don't want it to take like a year to get done. You start talking about it, something will happen, you'll get distracted, you'll come on to something else, and it'll take forever. So keep it a secret.
That's right. You got to tell Dad, though, because I have to staple and duct tape
He's not
things.
Public, that's okay.
I'm not public.
But you can only tell him at home.
Yeah.
In a home environment. You can't tell him like out here, like in an interview.
Yeah.
Like.
No, you can't. If you say it, I can see if you say it, it'll be on camera. You can't do that.
You can't say it out loud.
You got to follow the advice. That's right. Okay. Wulff, wrap it up. Yeah, Cosplay Michael, can you help me? I'm going to wrap it up. I have to say thank you to some people. Can you know who the people I have to say thank you to?
All right, folks, that about wraps it up. Before we go, we'd like to thank our friends and partners
at Some Unique Magazine,
Space Coast Comics, Famous Faces and Funnies,
author Yvonne Mason at Off the Chain Radio. Who's next?
So Yvonne Mason and Off the Chain Radio, Pound the Grape, and Bellish Effects.
And Bellish Effects. That's where we get some cosplay makeup for Cosplay Michael, right? Awesome. Good deal. Guys, thank you very much for logging on and tuning in while we hang out with Cara Nicole, the Arizona Power Girl. Check her out online. We're going to put links down below so you can find Facebook and Instagram and all the places you can follow Cara. Also, make sure you ask for her at your next con. She wants to be there. She wants to meet you. That you right there. You. Click the link. Go over there. They want to meet you. All right. As we do that, guys, remember, stay tuned in. Stay logged on.
And see who we're hanging with next.
Best-selling and award-winning author of true crime and crime fiction, Yvonne Mason is back with a brand new book, The Pink Canary, a book that delves into the life of a drag queen and a marvelous whodunit. You can find this and all of Yvonne's other works on Amazon.com, or find Yvonne Mason on Facebook and Twitter.
He's gonna kill me.
Buy your copy of Pink Canary now.
The Right of Wands. One boy, one right. And a world of deadly secrets that could change the course of history forever. It's time for The Right of Wands by Mackenzie Floor. When a horrible fate reveals itself during the Right of Wands ceremony, Myrda must find a way to change his destiny. Forbidden from revealing the future, he is granted a wand and magical powers in order to save himself and those he loves. But Myrda is not the only one with secrets. The Right of Wands by Mackenzie Floor, available on Amazon.com now.
This is Cosplay Michael with the Hangin' with Web show. I want to tell you about my friends at Embellish Effects in Orlando, Florida. They've got makeup, costumes, and props for all of your costume needs. And the team at Embellish Effects is helpful and friendly. Embellish Effects is one of my favorite places, and I know it will be yours too. I'll see you there. Or go to embellisheffects.com. And remember, cosplay is for everyone.
Every year, tens of millions of people flock to Florida for its sunny beaches and world-famous tourist attractions. Most never learn about the strange and unusual locations just off the beaten path. From the UFOs of Gulf Breeze to Robert the Haunted Doll in Key West, learn about the myths, monsters, and legends from the dark side of the Sunshine State with author Mark Muncy and illustrator Carrie Schultz in their books Eerie Florida and Freaky Florida from the History Press. Find them at eerieflorida.com or wherever books are sold.
Discarded by Michael J. Allen. In a world where magic is sold like designer coffee, unknown forces have corrupted it, and it's killing people. Now, an unlikely hero emerges. A homeless ex-con creating spells out of a trash can is the only one who can save the city. Michael J. Allen's Discarded, available on Amazon.com.
Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome back to the Hangin' with Web show. Thank you so much for logging on, tuning in, clicking the link, Googling us. I don't really know how they get here. Sometimes they get lost on the internet and they just show up.
just magically
Whatever
appears.
you did, thank you. Do it again by hitting subscribe and a little bell so you can come back over. We have artists, authors, filmmakers, musicians, creative minds of all kinds. We're at MegaCon 2019 in Orlando, Florida, and we're hanging out right now with Mike Lopez, the co-founder and artist and creator of Incredikids and Increditainment.
Increditainment. It's a mouthful.
It's a thing. You could say it 3 times fast.
Increditainment.
And Beetlejuice will appear. Anyway, thank you so much for coming over.
Thank you for having me on here today.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
All right, so tell us about Increditainment.
All right, so what Increditainment is, it actually started with our Incredikids outreach, our education programs that we've been doing.
Okay.
I'm a teacher in the New York City school system. I've been doing that for about 12 years now. A big part of what I do is using pop culture in the classroom.
That is awesome.
And I've been inspiring inner city kids with comics and the arts. About 10 years ago, I reached out to some other local artists in the New York area. My co-founder, Michael Grazia, who does Incredikids and Increditainment with me, and then some other people. We've gotten together, and what we've done is bring the arts into schools, into the libraries, into summer camps. What makes us a little bit different is that we are artists, we are writers, we have some actors that work with us as well, but also from the heart of Incredikids is we're educators as well. We're certified teachers.
Yeah, okay. So as an educator, what drew you to wanting to bring pop culture into the classroom as a way of teaching?
I'm a special education teacher in a middle school setting, and for me, using pop culture and comic books, movies, television, all that good stuff, that is a really good way to connect with the students because it is such a part of our society now. Like, we can have conversations about a book that we're reading and tie it into something like in the new Avengers movie or something that they saw in The Flash last night.
We have a good friend that does here in Florida in the Southeast does with a comics in the classroom program.
Yes.
And she's been presenting it around the state. And as she does that to the various districts, one of the conversations that we have all the time is when you're approaching other teachers and other educators, and they look at you and they say, why should I do comic books? That's one of the things that we always try to tell them is, let me tell you a story about a scientist who wanted to make himself better and came up with a formula and ended up letting the beast out within. And they go, oh, that's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. No, that's David Banner in The Incredible Hulk. But
exactly.
It's the same story, and that's how we can bridge the gap between the classic and the new versions, is by showing that it's the same. We're storytellers.
Exactly.
We tell the same stories over and over again, generation. And pop culture has taken those stories and popularized them with these kids. And what you're doing is bridging that gap, and that's amazing. How has it gone? How has it been?
Well,
is it well received? And
it's been very, very well received. And outside of the educational element to it, we also do the whole social emotional element of it too. Working in New York City, like I said, I'm in the South Bronx. It is one of the probably one of the most difficult jobs I've ever had, but also the most rewarding because when I make those connections with these kids, just seeing their reactions, seeing the understanding, seeing the fact that like I believe in them or other people I've brought in believe in them, that makes a world of difference. One of my main goals and Michael Grazia's main goals is to really show kids that whatever they want to do, they can do. There's a lot of kids that are interested in video games. There's a lot of kids that are interested in music. There's a lot of kids that are interested in acting and cartooning and things like this. And part of also what we do with our program, aside from just tying literature to the films and stuff like that, is also like inspiring these young minds. We call our Incredikids, as we talk about.
Fantastic.
Because any kid can be an Incredikid. And the possibilities are endless.
By the way, moms, dads, kids, arts and entertainment is actually a profession. We do this. It is something to do. You can aspire to great things in this industry, and be the next Stan Lee.
Absolutely.
Okay, the next Bill Finger, and you can do those things if you put your mind to it. Yeah. It's educators like you that are teaching them that they have those are goals. They're real goals.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we're fortunate that we've had as well is that we've worked with some really great creative people along the way who support us, and when we do our educational outreach, our workshops in schools, our workshops at conventions, like we've taken over complete kid zones at conventions like MegaCon. We're not at MegaCon yet, but
we'll talk.
We can talk about that.
We can talk about that.
Up in the Northeast where we are, we do kids areas, And we've had puppeteers from the Muppets like Noel McNeil from Bear in the Big Blue House has been with us. Leslie Carrera-Rudolph, who's Abby Cadabby on Sesame Street, and her own thing, Lolly Lard Pop, is a great thing. And these puppeteers from Sesame Street, they come and they interact with the kids. They build puppets with the kids. They inspire their imagination. That's what we're doing. Marty Grafstein, the voice of Courage the Cowardly Dog, does a workshop with us called The Sound of Cartooning, where Michael Grazia will have the kids create a character, and he'll draw it out live for the kids, and Marty does the voice.
Gives them a voice.
And
that's amazing.
And it's just having the kids and parents involved in this whole creative process.
Well, we know that as an educator bringing this stuff to the kids, you have a certain obligation to do some homework.
Absolutely.
Right? And so when you're doing your homework, we have some questions. I want to get to know you. Okay, so what is your favorite pop culture universe?
Wow, that is a tough...
Especially in this room where everything is here, right? So what is your favorite thing? What do you...
Well, I mean, I always joke with my family and some of my friends. I think it would be great if we lived in a world where... I mean, and I'm not saying that they're not, but the Muppets are living, breathing. Like, I think it would be cool to go to work and in the office next to you...
You're not alone.
It's like a penguin or a chicken.
Every television franchise on the planet has thought the same thing, because there's always an episode. You know, there's always that episode where everybody's a Muppet.
Exactly.
That's right. So, best Muppet. Your favorite Muppet.
Oh, boy.
I mean, I'm a classic guy. I'm a Kermit all
Wait,
the way
I mean,
guy.
you can't, you know, and I mean, yeah, Kurt, you can't go wrong with Kermit.
I'm a journalist too, so you know, I remember Kermit the Frog from Sesame Street. I remember when it was, you know, this is Kermit the Frog.
And it's the 50th anniversary of Sesame Street this year too, so be on the lookout for that. Favorite Muppet? Wow, that is a tough, because that's tough because they all have such great qualities. I mean, and Jim Henson was a huge inspiration to me.
I don't know. You look kind of like a Dr. Teeth guy.
I love the band, but I mean, all of them say something to me.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's the beauty of the Muppet characters, is the fact that they all
personify a different part of our personalities, and it's great to see how they work together.
And that's what makes them appealing to us too, because they are all so different, but then they're also the same.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So she's doing something back there. I'm not sure what.
Do a favorite episode.
Okay. Oh. She knows that we're the Muppet Show generation.
Of the Muppet Show.
Yeah. Favorite episode? You got a favorite guest? Anything like that?
I mean, of course, I could always be like everybody. Oh, I love the Mark Hamill episode, which is a great episode.
Right, at MegaCon, that's a cheat. That's an easy out.
No. Gosh, there's so many cool episodes. I can't think of the actress's name. The one that I really enjoyed when I was a kid was they did. I can't think of the actress. I should know this, but they did like she came over and they took over the show and they did it's all Pirates, and the whole show is like overrun by all the Muppets had become pirates. I can't think of the actress's name.
Wow.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, we will have to look that up. Actually, I'm going to tell this on camera. I'll do it because then I'll get it done. Sage, look that up and put the link in the description for that episode so people can see Mike's favorite episode.
It's like season 4 or 5. I know that much.
Okay, there you go.
It's not on the DVDs.
So, appearance-wise, things for Incredikids, what's coming up down the road?
All right, so what we're doing at Incredikids, again, we're up in the New York tri-state area, so we actually have a handful of events that we're involved in the next month and a half. Coming up next weekend, Incredikids will have a team of artists over at the Garden State Comic Fest Six Flags edition.
Wow.
Which is in Six Flags Great Adventure in New Jersey. And that's a 2-day show, so we'll, aside from the artists and vendors that they'll have there, and guest stars Charlie Schlater and John Wesley Shipp, who are great people to go see.
Awesome.
We're going to have some of our artists there as well. That's next weekend. The following weekend, we're going to have a team at CradleCon down at the Cradle of Aviation Museum, which is in... It's down in Nassau County. It's right next to Nassau Coliseum. I can't think of the town offhand. But it's right next to Nassau Coliseum and Hofstra University. That's CradleCon. The week after that, June 8th, we have our next Incredicon, which is at the Poughkeepsie Galleria in Middletown, New York.
All right.
Joe Caramanga, who's here at MegaCon, who's a writer of DuckTales, Frozen, Big Hero 6, a great writer. He's going to be with us there. Also, Jim Martin from the Great Space Coaster. Follow the Great Space Coaster on Facebook. But the Great Space Coaster, he has Gary Gnu with him. And Gary's been popping and seeing some of our events, so he'll be there with us. Then June 20th.
Packed schedule,
June 22nd, we are at EternalCon at Nassau Coliseum.
Awesome.
And we're going to be doing kids stuff.
Where can they find you online?
Increditainment. and Incredikids on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. You can find us on there, and
Awesome.
we're quick to respond. So definitely, if you have any questions, suggestions,
we're going to drop
let us
links
know.
down below. We're
Yeah.
also going to share these links over on our Facebook and our Twitter accounts so you guys can find these guys. Find Incredikids, Increditainment.
Yes.
Increditainment online. Look these guys up and find out what they're all about. We have to wrap it up. We've been hanging out, having a good time, but she holds that card up and tells us we have to finish, because I don't know why she does that, but she does a thing. We want to thank our partners and friends at Famous Faces and Funnies, Space Coast Comics, Indie Originals, and IndieCon 2019. Josh Bauer for all the art behind us on the walls at J. Bauer Art. Krypton Radio at the Foxwood Wine Company, because these chairs are really comfy.
They are very nice. I want them for my house.
Author Yvonne Mason over at Off the Chain Radio. A special congratulations by the time this episode airs to our Hanging with Web Show Radio Hour co-host and friend, now Dr. Robert Lupo. So congratulations to Dr. Robert for his PhD that he just received. And all of you on the World Wide Web, stay tuned in, stay logged on, and see who we're hanging with next.
Murder by the Gods from author William G. Collins is available today. Murder by the Gods is a mystery thriller set in the glorious past of ancient Egypt. When the son of the Scorpion King suddenly collapses after receiving a mysterious threat from the god Seth, the prince is convinced it is the gods who are trying to kill his family. Murder by the Gods is filled with adventure and romance in a kingdom that would become known as the Land of the Pharaohs. Murder by the Gods from author William G. Collins is available on Amazon.com today.
Hey, is he gone? Is he gone?
I don't think he's here.
Wait, okay. Okay, guys, so we're back, and we gotta get this wrapped up before my dad comes back, so don't forget to thank our partners and friends for letting this happen at Famous Faces and Funnies, Space Coast Comics, IndieCon, J. Bauer Art. He has good art. Yeah, I'm talking to you. You. Yeah, go check out his art. It's really good. And Bell's Effects, they have amazing makeup and cosplay parts. You go to Orlando. Check them out. Foxwood Wine Company. She knows. Everyone knows here. Both of them. But no, I mean, only you. Dad's
That's
gone.
right. He's not here yet.
Yeah.
All right. Who
They
else?
have good one. You know that. Hearts Helping Others Over Orlando and Krypton Radio. So.
Hey, guys. What's going on here?
We're ending the show.
You're ending the you can't just end the show.
Well,
you have to say thank you to all the people who helped make this happen.
Yeah, I'm already done. I was on that.
You're already on that?
Yeah, we finished.
What do you need me for?
I mean, we need you to end it. I started it. You can end it.
Oh, you want me to end the show?
Sure, we can do it together.
All right. Well, okay, guys. Well, since you already thanked our partners and friends, we want to thank you especially. All of you who are listening to the show on Krypton Radio, on Spreaker, on iTunes, wherever you're listening.
Cut that off real quick.
I want to thank all of you. And remember, everybody.
So, thanks. And he said, stay logged on, stay tuned in, and see who we're hanging with next.
Don't try to find me, I'm already gone. I'm trying to cover up my tracks, but leave all these places with the lights on. Don't try to call me, I've changed my name. Your wide-eyed poetry doesn't work on me, won't make sense out of this game. And don't try to teach me what I taught you first. These spells don't work on me, won't set you free, won't quench that lonely thirst. I am not made of mercy. Have this figured all along. Wondering if this could work somehow. But I keep leaving all these places with the lights on. Well, don't try to lose me. I know these roads. Be it a lock of hair that sent you where the trail is gonna show. And don't try to shut me out. I know your name. And you can scream and yell or hide in hell. But babe, we both know you love this game. And don't try to teach me what I taught you first. These lies won't buy you time, won't blind my eyes, won't quench that lonely thirst. I am not made of mercy. I had you figured all along. Still wondering if I need you now. shadow substance as I serve them up my fear. Well, mercy is a scarlet cord on a harlot's balcony. How about a backdoor surrender? Would you leave a light on for me? Leave a light on for me. I'm not made of mercy. No, no, no. I'm not made of mercy. No.